Let's talk about where the money is actually being made in AI today, and where it's likely to be made over the next decade. There's a lot of hype, a lot of capital, and a lot of confusion. I'll separate the winners of the current cycle from the likely winners of the next one, and I'll explain the bottlenecks that are shaping who profits. Here's the punchline up front. Right now, most of the money is accruing to infrastructure, chips, memory, servers, networking, power, and the real estate that houses AI data centers. Software revenues are growing, but they lag far behind. Going forward, money will still flow into infrastructure, especially power and networking, but the big upside shifts to applied AI, agentic automation, vertical industry copilots, and full-stack solutions that deliver measurable ROI. Let's start with the now. The first and most obvious profit pool is chips. Training and running large models requires a flood of GPUs and custom accelerators. That demand has delivered outsized revenue to chip leaders and their supply chains. Foundries manufacturing those advanced chips are also booking strong growth. And memory makers have become central beneficiaries because high-bandwidth memory is a hard bottleneck for AI performance. The second profit pool is servers and systems. It's one thing to have chips, it's another to integrate them into racks with the right power, cooling, and management. Server makers and integrators assembling GPU-heavy systems are seeing explosive order growth. These companies don't get the same headlines as chip makers, but they are the ones delivering the boxes that go into AI clusters at scale. The third profit pool is networking. AI training doesn't work without extremely fast, ultra-low latency fabrics. That's driving demand for high-end Ethernet or InfiniBand switching, optical interconnects, and specialized networking silicon. As training scales from hundreds to thousands of accelerators, the network becomes a strategic cost center and a profit center for those who can relieve congestion. The fourth profit pool is storage. AI eats data. Training requires massive throughput, and inference requires fast retrieval. That is pushing demand for high-performance storage arrays, object storage, and new caching architectures. Storage providers that can scale performance, cost, and reliability are benefiting. The fifth profit pool is the physical layer, power and real estate. This is the most underappreciated place where money is being made today. Hyperscalers and model labs are racing to secure land, substation access, transmission upgrades, and dedicated energy contracts, often for carbon-free baseload power. Data center landlords who can deliver AI-ready space, high-density, liquid cooling, and guaranteed power, have pricing power. Utilities with baseload capacity, especially nuclear and hydro, are signing long-dated contracts that reprioritize their entire growth profile. The sixth profit pool is cloud AI, what you might call GPUs as a service and model APIs. Hyperscalers are renting out compute and selling managed services, and independent GPU clouds are signing multi-year capacity deals. Model providers are generating API and enterprise revenue. This is real money and growing fast, but it is still much smaller than the capital being poured into the underlying infrastructure. Now let's zoom out to the capital flows shaping all of this. We are in a historic infrastructure build-out. The largest tech companies plan to spend over $300 billion on AI-related capital expenditures this year alone. Multiple analyses put 2025 hyperscaler capex in the $300 to $330 billion range. Consulting estimates suggest the global data center and compute build could cost several $1 trillion over the next 5 years. Whether you think this is rational or a bubble, the money is being spent. That spending dictates who gets paid in the short run: chips, memory, servers, networks, land, and power. But is it paying off yet? Here's the honest answer. The ROI on infrastructure is still ahead of the ROI on applications. The application layer is where long-term value must show up, real revenue or real cost reductions for end customers. Today, the revenue at the application layer is meaningful, but it's small compared to the infrastructure outlays. Many enterprises are still in pilot mode or early rollouts. That's why the profit pools have concentrated upstream. So where is the money likely to be made next? There are 3 big shifts coming. Shift 1. The center of gravity moves from training to inference. Training remains essential, but the recurring economics of AI come from inference, running models to power real workflows, all day, every day. Inference is a networking-heavy, storage-heavy, and cost-per-token game. The winners will be those who drive down cost and latency while raising reliability. That means more money for networking and optical providers, more for storage optimization, and more for accelerators tuned for inference rather than training alone. It also means smart caching, retrieval-augmented generation, and on-device or near-edge inference where it makes practical sense. Shift 2. Power becomes the defining constraint, and the next major profit pool. In plain terms, AI is hitting the wall on electricity. The grid interconnect queue is long. Substations are capacity constrained. Cooling at scale is non-trivial. As a result, baseload generation, long-term power purchase agreements, small modular reactors, and large-scale renewables with firming will become a competitive moat. Utilities and independent power producers that can deliver reliable, 24/7, carbon-aware megawatts to data center campuses will capture premium, long-dated contracts. Transmission, substations, switchgear, and power electronics suppliers will ride the same wave. If the last 2 years were the GPU bottleneck, the next 2 will be the power bottleneck. Shift 3. Applied AI finds its business cases, and the application layer finally scales. Expect agentic systems, AI that can plan, call tools, and execute multi-step tasks with supervision, to show up in customer support, sales operations, finance workflows, IT and security automation, and software development lifecycles. Expect vertical co-pilots in healthcare revenue cycle, insurance underwriting, logistics scheduling, retail merchandising, industrial maintenance, and legal review. These are not chatbots, they are task machines with SLAs and dashboards. The money will go to those who combine 3 things: proprietary or privileged data, tight workflow integration, and measurable outcomes. In other words, solve a painful, expensive problem and take payment as subscription plus outcome share, or as savings as a service. Let me make that more concrete by walking through a simple value chain lens, today versus tomorrow. Today, value accrues to accelerators and memory, because they're scarce and essential. Server integrators and OEMs, because they deliver working clusters quickly. Networking and optical, because scaling AI means scaling east-west bandwidth. Data center landlords, because AI-ready space with power is scarce and leasing terms favor the landlord. Utilities and power providers, because hyperscalers need firm, clean megawatts under long contracts. Cloud platforms, because they can rent compute while customers figure out their app strategy. Tomorrow, value accrues to power and grid enablers, because without megawatts, nothing else scales. Networking fabric and interconnect, because inference scale makes bandwidth the recurring cost driver. Model-efficient stacks, smaller, specialized, retrieval-augmented models that deliver similar outcomes at a fraction of the cost. Agent platforms and orchestration layers, the glue that connects models to tools, data, and workflows with governance and observability. Vertical AI applications, domain-specific copilots that guarantee KPIs, fewer tickets, faster collections, higher conversion, lower downtime. Trust, safety, and compliance layers, security, data leakage prevention, audit trails, and policy enforcement for regulated industries. What about the risk that all this spending is a bubble? It's a fair question. Skeptics point to slow enterprise ROI, persistent model errors, and the possibility that scaling laws are flattening. Bulls counter that we've seen this pattern before: infrastructure leads, applications follow. The practical reality is that both can be true. Some capacity will be stranded temporarily. Some investments will be mistimed. Meanwhile, a core set of winners will compound through the cycle, especially those controlling scarce inputs, advanced packaging, HBM memory, network silicon, power, and land near substations. So, if you're thinking about where profits concentrate over the next 5 years, here's a simple framework. Number 1. Follow the bottlenecks. In 2023 and 2024, the bottleneck was GPUs. In 2025 and 2026, the bottleneck is power and networking. In 2027 and beyond, the bottleneck becomes enterprise deployment productivity, governance, integration, and reliable agent execution. Number 2. Follow recurring spend, not one-time hype. Training clusters are lumpy capital. Inference, networking, storage, and power are recurring. Applied AI that automates an expensive workflow is also recurring. Recurring spend creates durable profit pools. Number 3. Follow measurable outcomes. The application winners won't sell AI, they'll sell fewer minutes to close a ticket. Fewer days in accounts receivable. Higher first call resolution. Fewer stockouts. Lower mean time to repair. That's where software margins and long customer lifetimes come from. Let me close with a clear view of what to watch. Watch hyperscaler capital expenditures. If you see sustained CapEx above $300 billion per year, infrastructure names will continue to book big revenue. If CapEx meaningfully slows, it will be a signal that capacity is catching up with demand, and pricing power may shift. Watch power deals. Multi-decade contracts for baseload power tied to specific campuses tell you who is securing the true scarcities. The companies locking those in are building durable advantages. Watch networking and interconnect roadmaps. As inference scales, network cost per token becomes a make-or-break metric. Winners here will quietly become some of the most important companies in AI. Watch application case studies with dollars attached. When a vertical AI solution consistently delivers a 20 to 40% improvement in a high-cost workflow, the market moves from pilots to standardization. That's the inflection where software revenue finally dwarfs the infrastructure outlay. In summary, today's money is in the picks and shovels of AI, chips, memory, servers, networking, power, and property. Tomorrow's money is in making AI do real work, reliably, at scale, with measurable outcomes. The transition won't happen overnight. But as power constraints get solved and agentic systems mature, value will move steadily up the stack. The winners will be those who master the bottlenecks, lock in recurring economics, and deliver outcomes, not demos. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share.